It was a quiet afternoon when a knock on the door shattered the peace. Jake opened to see two men in uniforms claiming to be HOA enforcement officers. "We're here to seize your firearms," one said, voice tense. Jake's heart skipped a beat. His community had always been strict, but this was beyond reason. He glanced at the small collection of guns lined neatly on his wall, his protection, his hobby, and legal property. "You can't just take them," he said calmly, masking the adrenaline surging through him. The men's eyes darted nervously, sensing his unspoken warning. Jake knew this confrontation was a test. He took a deep breath and prepared to activate a protocol few knew he possessed. The promise of an intense showdown hung in the air. Would he manage to protect his rights without escalating violence? Jake's calm, calculated demeanor contrasted sharply with the aggressiveness of the fake officers. Each second seemed to stretch endlessly. Behind his composure, years of preparation and training were about to unfold. Neighbors peeked curiously from windows, sensing the tension. Jake's mind raced through every legal and tactical option. He knew these imposters underestimated him, and the next moments would prove who truly held the power. The fake officers circled the living room, clearly unprepared for a homeowner who remained composed. "Where's your warrant?" Jake asked, his voice steady but firm. Their papers were hastily prepared, poorly copied, and clearly invalid. He noted every detail: their uniforms, their hesitation, their nervous glances. Max, his golden retriever, sat quietly, sensing the tension. Jake's plan wasn't to escalate, but to assert control with precision. Every movement, every word, was deliberate. "You're trespassing," he added calmly, documenting the encounter on his phone. The intruder's bluster began to falter. Jake could see the cracks forming in their act. They had expected fear, panic, or surrender, but he offered none, neighbors whispered from across the street. They couldn't see exactly what was happening, but they felt the charged atmosphere. Jake was proving that knowledge, composure, and preparation could outmatch aggression. The promise of justice, and the shocking twist of his hidden expertise, kept everyone watching silently, anticipating the next move. Jake reached a discreet panel and activated a pre-planned alert system, a silent notification to law enforcement confirming his location and situation. Simultaneously, his home security cameras began recording every angle. The imposters froze, their confidence wavered. They hadn't anticipated coordination, legality, and evidence working seamlessly against them. Jake calmly moved, keeping them in sight without threatening, yet every step made it clear he wasn't intimidated. He spoke into the phone, "I've got everything on record. Leave now." The men's faces turned pale. Their pretense of authority crumbled under his meticulous preparation. Jake's knowledge of legal protocols and home defense had created an invisible barrier they couldn't breach. Max moved closer, a subtle reminder that Jake was never alone. The promise of a shocking revelation, how a homeowner could turn the tables on fake enforcers, was about to unfold. Every second now amplified the suspense, building to the dramatic payoff that viewers clicked to see. The imposters glanced at each other, realizing they were trapped in a situation they hadn't prepared for. Their bluster evaporated into confusion and fear. Jake's calm yet commanding presence highlighted their inexperience. He slowly moved toward the door, signaling politely but firmly that they should exit. One of them fumbled with his clipboard, mumbling excuses. Jake recorded every moment. This wasn't confrontation, it was documentation. From the street, neighbors watched, sensing a quiet victory in progress. The promise of the shocking twist lingered. These men had underestimated not just Jake's preparation, but his awareness, his law knowledge, and his ability to turn the tables. Jake's methodical approach ensured no escalation while asserting full authority. Every move, every word, reinforced the lesson: arrogance meets consequences when the other side is ready, trained, and legally armed. After the fake officers fled, Jake reviewed the recordings. Every gesture, word, and misstep was captured. He knew HOA disputes could escalate online, in court, or in neighborhood gossip. Now, armed with undeniable evidence, he prepared formal reports. The imposter's deception was documented perfectly. Jake's foresight in recording, planning, and knowing legal boundaries guaranteed that they could never falsely accuse him again. The payoff was clear: preparation, knowledge, and calm could neutralize threats that brute force or intimidation tried to impose. Neighbors quietly admired his composure, realizing the value of being prepared and informed, news of the incident spread subtly among the neighborhood. The fake officer's attempt had backfired spectacularly. Residents approached Jake, expressing concern and admiration. He explained the importance of legality, preparation, and restraint. The HOA was forced to address the situation officially, retracting false claims. Jake's response had been firm but measured, avoiding conflict while asserting his rights. His household had weathered the storm without violence, only strategy and intelligence. Max remained at his side, a silent witness to the triumph. The community understood that the person they assumed might be vulnerable had turned the situation into a lesson in authority, legality, and vigilance. The incident ended without confrontation. Yet the lesson was unforgettable. Fake enforcement officers were exposed, and Jake had not only protected his property but also taught a vital lesson in preparation, knowledge, and calm response. Neighbors, impressed by the handling, now respected Jake not just for his rights but for his discipline and wisdom. Max wagged happily, oblivious to the drama he had silently observed, and that was the final twist in this unbelievable HOA story. If you loved the drama, don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop a comment sharing your thoughts. It really helps this channel grow.